They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and on eBay, that can definitely be true. The photos you take for your listings can make or break how much you get for your items. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some simple tips for taking professional looking photos on a shoestring budget. Alright, you're not going to have to go out and buy any fancy digital SLR equipment or any fancy light boxes or anything like that. Alright, I'm going to show you using some pretty cheap materials how you can make your pictures look a whole lot better. So my test subject today here is this little collectible toy tractor. Now the first thing that I want to do with this before I even think about taking a picture is it's a little bit dusty, so I just want to clean it up a little bit. Alright, I've seen items sell for more than double. I've listed items where I didn't get a single bid on them, and then I cleaned them up, took new pictures, and then boom, they sold for more than twice what I was asking for it the first time, just because the pictures looked better. So, and besides, people like to whine and complain if you send them dirty, dusty items. So, it's worth doing. It takes a few seconds to do. Now, next thing I want you to notice here is the background. You don't need to go out and buy a big fancy green screen or anything like that. This is just a piece of canvas. It was actually pretty cheap, and any solid color here is going to work as long as it's different than what your subject is here. My subject is red and black, and it's got a little bit of silver, so we don't want any of those colors in it. One solid color background. Red bed sheets I've used before. I've used blue sheets. Pretty much anything is going to work. So next thing I want to do here is get my camera out, and don't freak out about what kind of camera you have. Anything that's 2 megapixels or better is going to work just fine. Probably the only thing I would recommend is you don't use your cell phone's camera, but otherwise for your pictures this isn't going to be too big of a deal. Now most people would just walk up to this thing, snap a picture just like that, and be done. What I'm going to recommend you do is you take a picture from an angle first. It looks just a little bit more professional, so this is the first picture we're going to take is from an angle, and this is the picture we're going to want to use when we make our gallery for our gallery item when we put it up on eBay, just so that people can see it. And then I will take one here of the side of it. And let's see. Since this is a collectible item, I'll get another shot from this side too. Alright, so I've got all the pictures I need now for it. I'm going to take these upstairs, and I'm going to show you some tips to make these pictures go from being just alright to looking really, really cool. So, see you in just a second.
Alright, so now we have the pictures open that I just took, and I'm going to show you how we get rid of this green background and replace it with, well, something else. Or in this case, a white background. So, first thing I'm going to do here, I've got Photoshop open. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop this image so that we're looking at a whole lot less. And now I'm going to resize the image here because my camera takes really freaking big pictures, and they're just way too big to use on eBay. And this way I can look at the whole picture at once now, full size, so I can see how it's going to look to other people. So I think you can pretty much see pretty much all that now. Okay. So I got this thing showing at 100%, and now we can actually take a look at what we want to do with it. Alright, so what I want to do here, now there's more than one way you can remove this background. I'm pretty lazy about it, so I like the really, really easy way, which is just to take your fill bucket here, and I've got my tolerance. Let me see if I can pull this down here for you so you can see it. I've changed my tolerance levels to 40 here. Basically what I'm trying to do is catch as much of this green background at once as soon as I click this fill button as possible. So we're going to see how that one works, and it looks like I grabbed a whole bunch of it. So let me move this back up so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Alright, I'm going to hit it again, and I'm going to hit it again here and here. I probably could have picked a little bit easier one to work on here, as I'm going to need to do a little bit of touch up here, as you can see in these little spokes. I'm going to have to click this a whole bunch of times, so rather than make you watch and suffer through all this, I'm going to pause it here and show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so I pretty much got the whole thing kind of cleaned up now, and you can see that looks, for the most part, there's a little bit of rough edges here and there, and they can be easily kind of smoothed out. But that's basically all there is to it. Generally, I would have picked something a little bit easier to show you how to do as a demonstration at first, because there are all these little spaces in between, but probably a good example of it not always being super easy, but it still only takes a few minutes to do. And now one more thing you can kind of do here, if you just kind of want to add a little bit of pop to it, is you can go ahead and add in a big old border around the edges. So why don't we do this here? So I'm just going to stick in a big old red border. So, and there we go. So now the listing, when it shows up in the little gallery page, now it's going to show up. It's got a big red border. It's going to just get more clicks naturally because people are going to see it and say, oh, what's this? Because it doesn't look like every other picture on eBay. So that is how I recommend that you can make your pictures really stand out from the competition, just by taking a couple extra minutes to, one, make sure you clean up the item a little bit, make sure it's not quite so dusty or dirty or anything like that, and then two, make sure you take your picture at a little bit of an angle because it looks just a little bit nicer, and then three, you can remove the background and make it even look better, and then add that red border or any brightly colored border. Green works, pink works, yellow works, anything that's just going to show up and give a little bit more pop to your pictures. So there you go, some quick tips for taking professional looking photos on a shoestring budget.